So yeah, when actually those are the wrong names at the top. No, well, Nick Harlow is correct. Philip Johnson is actually Glen Ray. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, when we saw Glen Ray playing yesterday, he was struggling and struggling to put up a fight against a deck that had a batter skull in play, and was at any point could top deck and treat the Angels and win. It was a blue-white miracle deck. The miracles, though, seem to be all on Glen's side, not only kind of literally because he did cast 2 Bonfire the Damned.
Oh, okay.
But his opponent apparently sided out his Entreat the Angels. So his opponent ended up decking himself, digging for answers. I'm baffled.
I don't
kind of
get it.
myself.
What
I don't get it
happened
either.
there? Like, isn't
Everybody's pretty baffled that saw it.
Yeah, I remember. I was on my break then, so I didn't get to watch it. But I had a few texts from friends saying, hey, there's no more win cons in this guy's deck, and
Yeah.
But I mean, he had a couple still, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, he didn't side out all his win conditions, but what you'd think of as his primary win condition being Entreat the Angels, he didn't.
And he was able to get himself to this really, really late game board state where he could entreat for like 1,000, right?
Yeah, it was so late, like literally, I think I said this to you yesterday, was if he had kept one Entreat the Angels in the deck and it had been the last card in his deck, he would have won that game.
Oh,
Actually, no, it wouldn't have been
second
the
to last card? Yeah.
Second to last, sorry. Let me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but I mean, it's just like, wow. He was asked, from what I heard, he was asked like, why did you side out the Entreat the Angels? And he apparently said, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
those things do happen. But all right, so we've got both players mulliganing to 6 here.
Keep it fair. So, a very, very interesting match, and that was Gavin and I doing the commentary. So
I'm gonna watch the replay.
Worth going. I think I might go back and watch too, just because it was one of the more strange matches I've ever watched.
Yeah, and Gavin has a really awesome presence in the booth.
Absolutely.
Too, right? I think you and I both appreciate that. Looks like snare, guys.
Snag.
Excuse me, snag. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, Vapor Snare. That costs what, blue and 4, right?
No, I meant. Spell snare.
Spell snare. Oh wow. Yeah, you're way ahead.
Yeah,
I get you. Okay,
I'm good,
so
right?
turn 1 ponder from Nick gets him a
Geist, and I guess he just must have tons of lands or whatever.
Yeah. He's got Snag and Geist in hand, and it looks like 2 gut shots, no, at least 1. Okay, but I don't know.
So that was a turn 2 ponder, or what happened?
No, it was a turn 1 ponder. He just didn't. Turn 2, he just played Island and passed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And Glen Ray just on the
right.
swamps so far.
Name Spirit or Cleric?
I go with. I guess I go with Spirit.
I mean, I don't know the other.
I don't think it matters.
Deck,
there are probably no other clerics in his deck. Name Spirit. Okay.
I was kind of hoping he'd name Cleric.
I mean, he had to just to get the white mana.
All right.
So Geist resolves and
Geist resolves,
messenger.
and Glen is going to send a message back.
Yeah.
And this is like the 2 ideal 3-drops for these decks.
Yeah, both of these guys with their 3-drop of choice.
And they both do tons of damage, in the aggregate at least. Like, one gets a little more up front and a little more long game, but the Geist, interestingly, has a much stronger punch just in attacking.
Yeah, so Glen down to 14, and let's see if Nick can add to his Air Force or if he's just going to pass back. I don't know that he has anything. Yeah, I don't think he has any other threats in hand.
I see a gut shot in his hand.
Yeah, he's got a gut shot. He's got at least 1 Vapor Snag. I believe he has 2 at this point because we did see 2 off the ponder.
Now, Vapor Snag against Messenger is kind of interesting because it allows him to replay it and get the damage back again, but it also sort of keeps it indefinitely tapped.
Right.
So that the guys can keep getting in over and over again. So
yeah, it stops the attacking part of it, but it's just like a 3-mana shock,
Right. Now, Nick decides he's just going to take the damage if Glen wants to attack, because he really his plan at this point is just to get in with that Geist another couple of times and call it a game.
Yeah, I think.
So let's see what Glen has in store here. Whatever it is, it's going to get Vapor Snagged if it's a creature. It's a Birthing Pod, all right.
Birthing Pod. So
now,
this is
if we
where
don't
Nick
have
wants
a leak.
to snag. I think. Yeah, if you don't have, I think he's snagged before he can activate the pod.
So Glen decides to pay full price for the pod. He happened to have a Woodland Cemetery as well. And I think the reason for that is because he's at 14, and he can take 2 hits from the Geist. If you cancel that. Yeah,
so
now
here
he's really up against it now.
I think he's just, I mean, that's 6, 7, 8, plus however many cards are in his hand. Does he have 6?
9, 10, 11, he has 4.
Okay, he's down to 2 then? Is that, I mean...
That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so he goes to 2. Well, I think we have a game here. I don't think that, like, I guess if there is a, like, does Glen run any sacrifice effects?
I mean, he has...
Liliana's or...
not
what's
main
it called?
deck.
Geth Verdicts or anything like that?
Not for his opponent. He's got sacrifice
right.
effects for himself.
Yeah, wrong direction there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I don't think that Glen can pile up 15 damage in the amount of time that he has here. So, I don't know. It looks like attacking with that messenger might have been.
Yeah, I mean that was.
Little, I mean, like assuming that his opponent doesn't have Vapor Snag, like if you just leave messenger up, you're in a pretty reasonable spot. Although,
yes,
as we know now, the sword would come down and
it was going to do the same thing. In fact, I mean, not that it ended up. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Glen would have ended up being at. No, actually, Nick could have killed Glen there if he already. I don't know if he had the sword, but he should have Vapor Snagged at the end of Glen's turn. Vapor Snag the messenger. That drops him down 1 additional life and puts an additional card in his hand. That's the last 2.
Oh, you're right.
Playing the sword would have killed him.
Hey,
so
we're welcome back.
Hey guys, I'm Joey Pasco here with Marshall Sutcliffe, and we're in Seattle watching the semifinals of the standard portion of the Open Series, and we'll be back later with some Legacy. But
geez, Geist made short work of that game.
Yeah, I mean we've seen a lot of that this weekend, where like game 1, just it's done like within a few minutes.
But that's one of the, like it feels like Glen, he's going to have to respect the turn 5, right? Like turn 5 is sort of quip time. If you don't see that coming, like you're going to take beatings like this where he gets in for 12 damage in one swing, and you're just like, well, there goes that plan.
Yeah, I mean I'm wondering if I couldn't quite see if the sword was already in Nick's hand, but I do wonder if he was already on the sword plan. If he would have, because what would have happened if somehow Glen got back into that game, and it's just like, wow, if I would have just Vapor Snagged, that would have been it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Try to not miss points of damage when you can get them. I actually expected him to, once his opponent tapped out for Vapor Snag, I mean,
good morning.
Birthing Pod. Yeah, exactly. Once his opponent tapped out for Birthing Pod, I expected Nick to go ahead and Vapor Snag at that point. One, because hey, I have extra mana here to do it, and I want to keep that guy off the table anyway, so it doesn't get Birthing Podded next turn. And also, my opponent just spent his turn casting Birthing Pod, so basically, he can't replay the messenger immediately. He has to wait until next turn, and that would have won him the game just on that swing.
Yeah, and that's actually an important play, because the messenger itself doesn't matter as much, because it's going to come back into play tapped if it gets potted, but he can get Phyrexian Metamorph with it.
Right.
Which I think I might have just taken because he has a Birthing Pod he can pay 2 Phyrexian mana for, and then he can activate in his turn, it's 4 damage, but if you just go get a Phyrexian Metamorph and just kill the Geist right now, like you're in a much better spot.
Yeah, I mean,
you get to untap
4,
with a 4/3.
But you just stopped 6.
You just stopped at least 6, and as it turned out, 12. Alternatively, he could also get a Falconwrath Aristocrat, which can block the token or block the Geist or whatever too. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I might have been more aggressive. If I have, he's got 2 Metamorphs main. I think I'm aiming for those with my Birthing Pod and just trying to get that Geist off the table, because his deck can't kill it otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, and he still is left with an undead Geist, right?
Yeah, it would put him at 10. He would have.
He would have a
Geist? You mean
I'm sorry, Messenger. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm just saying card names.
He would have a 4/3 Messenger. No, I got your back. Don't worry. He also happens to have a Phyrexian Obliterator in the main that he could get, at some point as well. Like he could trade in the messenger for that the second time. So, he has a plan there, I think, and I think that prioritizing getting the Geist of St. Traft off the table was the #1 thing. Also, making sure that he didn't get sorted, and he didn't do either of those. And that Geist was like, all right,
I mean, I think he was blindsided by the sword. I think the sword coming down was like, oh yeah, you have that card,
Yeah.
and you have.
Because the way he played it, he gave himself at least ostensibly 3 turns. You know, it was going to be 6, 12, 18, right? And he was at 14, right? So like, I think he thought he had a little bit more time, but I mean, you just got to respect the sword here.
Yeah. So while these guys are sideboarding, we have a question a trivia question for you guys to potentially win 6 months of free Star City Premium. We're going to ask you a question. You tweet your answer with the hashtag SCG Premium down here. Man, I'm bad at this, especially this early. I want to go right to the. I want to right to the hashtag and over. So anyway, so we're gonna ask you a question. You tweet the answer with the hashtag SCG Premium, and one random winner will win 6 months of free premium. So. We were saying earlier, we're here because of Evan Irwin. Evan had the Magic Show. That's how he kind of entered the community. And, the Magic Show is available now pretty regularly on Star City Premium. There is a free video content. We have free video content also on Star City, but it is and also kind of a show similar to Evan's called The Newsening.
Yep.
It's a very, very cool show. So the trivia question is, who is the host of The Newsening?
I don't know. I mean,
well, you don't need to answer because
I have no idea.
You can't win anyway.
No, I know who it is. I happen to know the answer to this one.
Yeah, I think I know.
This person's even on Twitter.
Yeah. We could. I think we can give some hints, but let's leave the Twitter name. I think the Twitter name might give it away.
Yeah, it's spelled weird anyway. They wouldn't figure it out.
Yeah. So that's a hint. Weird name, weirdly spelled Twitter name. That's about everybody, right? I mean, just about.
Yeah.
No, but actually, this person also was featured at the Invitational in the Interviewsening content.
And I also saw he did a live.
Yeah, he did a live version of the Newsening, and he will be featured. I think you guys will be seeing him more regularly on the Open Series, doing SCG live coverage, whether it's commentary or on our one of our new features as we showed on the Invitational was the sideboard. So
I think
cool.
He called Evan Irwin an enthusiasm enthusiast,
and that's accurate.
that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
if you've met Evan,
if anybody is an enthusiasm enthusiast, it's Evan.
Yeah, that was great. It just described him perfectly.
So we're gonna go back to the match now. Looks like Glen is mulliganing to 6, and Nick is keeping. So Glen leads with a Gravecrawler.
That's a fine start.
Yeah.
Now, not being able to block is a pretty big detriment when you are facing down potential Geist of St. Trask. But this is a turn 1 play versus a way down the line turn 3 play for Nick here. So it's going to get in for a bunch of damage, especially being on the play. All right, another Gravecrawler joins the party here. I see a sword in Nick's hand, although he doesn't have anything to equip it to currently. I see a couple of snags. All right, attack with both zombies. Are we going to double snag, or what's the plan here? This doesn't seem... Okay, so he's going to purge one of them.
Okay, deals with it.
That one's not coming back. All right, so do we have a messenger on 3? We have a go. That is very not ideal, because there's... So he's got a Doomblade and a couple of lands, but on turn 3, a lot of things can happen for this deck. You can see a Birthing Pod come down, start to get some shenanigans rolling.
Yeah, Messenger, as you mentioned.
Messenger is a huge turn 3 play. There's also Metamorph if there was a reasonable target for it. That's pretty disappointing that he just has no other play.
We do see Nick has that sword.
Yeah, the sword's down, but he apparently wants to play an instant. He's just going to snag.
Yeah.
I mean... I guess that's okay.
It's just kind of stopping some damage. I think I might have just taken the 2 there, but...
I mean, like, it depends on what his plan is for attacking later. Like, he apparently just has no creatures.
Just draws another snag.
Yeah,
he has his
He's got sword, snag, leak or something. Like,
Yeah.
he just doesn't have much going on here.
3 vapor snags. I guess it's fine to throw them away a little early, just to make sure you draw into your other cards that are going to hopefully win you the game.
Yeah.
He is like,
there's a Snapcaster Mage,
wow.
but he wants to get value.
He can Snapcaster Purge.
He can Snapcaster Purge, and then he can sword equip on the next turn and just bash. So it's going to get Doombladed, but then it's going to also come back from a Moorland Haunt later and then get equipped and then attack again.
Right.
So that looks like I like that plan quite a bit, given the fact that Glen has failed to put up a bunch of pressure. He's at this point he's only on 1 Gravecrawler, and that's just not going to do it. So Nick decided to take it. I think he just wanted to wait and see if there was a messenger in his future.
Oh, didn't quite see that.
What?
So he has Restoration Angel just out of nowhere. But it takes the Doomblade
So
away.
why would you just Doomblade right there?
Why would you do
Yeah,
that?
wouldn't you want to, like, what if he goes sword equip on this turn, then you get to Doomblade, you make him waste his entire turn, and you have Mana Leak backup, or you can pay for Mana Leak.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why you get hasty and just Doomblade on your turn like that.
I guess
You can't blink an angel. You know, he can't Restoration Angel later and then redo it again.
I mean, he could have been playing around Leak, but that also stops the equip of the sword. Actually, no, I'm sorry, because if he did it in response to the equip,
Right.
then obviously there's no Leak. Yeah,
Right, and there is no sword yet, but again, Glen has to be aware of swords coming down, and you know, Nick might just get hasty and be like, well, sword equip gets you, because I mean, that is the thing that Glen's going to have a tough time dealing with if it sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just guessing he may have been playing around Leak, period.
But he
right?
had 3 mana.
Did he have 3?
Yeah.
Because I thought he had
No,
just played his
he just
6th
played
land.
a land. Yeah.
He had also had
So
1 tapped from the Gravecrawler.
No,
so
it was just in play. He didn't
I
have to
thought
pay
he
for
just
it.
replayed the Gravecrawler.
No, he hit him with it last turn.
Oh, yeah, okay. Why
Yeah.
did I think he replayed it? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
so-
some reason
so
I
he-
thought I only saw
Yeah, I
2
looked at his
untapped,
lands
but-
and it looked good. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird play. That's a Divine Offering, I believe.
couldn't quite
I guess
see.
he's
but,
respecting the pod here.
Here
We're just
comes
gonna
the
see
sword.
equipped though. Yeah, he says, yep. Sure. What's the worst thing that could happen here? Yeah, this is it.
So
So
Nick
Glen has at least wisely dumped all of his land, so he has as few as possible.
yeah. So he's just going to take the, 5 there?
3, 4, 5, yeah. All right, that looks like a Diregraph Ghoul.
Nick able to gain 4 life there off of that attack. So that spirit is what, the ghost of Restoration Angel, I guess?
It is,
That
yeah.
is?
All right, Manic Vandal. There you go.
All right.
That'll get you back in it. I mean, it's sorcery speed, so he took a hit, but he deals with it. All right.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He is a little bit. Yeah.
Adding to the, he's tripled the amount of creatures he has and dealt with the major threat on the table.
Yeah. Now, Nick's plan's a little different now. He's got a Snapcaster Mage and a Vapor Snag, 2 Vapor Snags in his hand. So he can survive for quite a while. He can Snapcaster back the Divine Offer, or excuse me, the Purge if he wants. He can block with the Snapcaster just to get something off the board, and then he can make it into a spirit later. He's got some options here. It just depends on if he feels like he can race or not. There are even life totals currently. That sword being gone is big though, really big. All right, attack with everybody.
Yeah, Glen has access to just 1 Manic Vandal, and he naturally had it when Nick had that sword. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
Because he has it as a pod target, but he just happened to draw it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so purge your Gravecrawler. That way that thing's never coming back as well.
So Snapcaster
And are we
Purge.
blocking? That's the question. Like, is Nick under the impression that he can race? Okay, so
Just
he
go
can.
ahead and trade your Snapcaster away. So you just basically, dealt with 2/3 of Glen's force
Yeah, with the card.
with, technically a single card.
Yep. All right, so a Diregraph Ghoul comes down for Glen. And Nick is once again in a spot where he can now, he can make another spirit token with his Moorland Haunt, and he can just start beating down. He's got 2 Vapor Snags in hand that can make the game go longer. He just drew a Mana Leak, which is pretty bad here. Like,
I was going to say, did Nick side out a lot of threats for sideboard answers, but he hasn't even drawn, besides Purge, he hasn't really drawn any other sideboard cards. Everything else is main deck. He just seems to have all the Vapor Snags.
Yeah.
And now,
Right, so he's going to attack with his spirit. So it looks like he is on the plan of attacking here. I mean,
he's only seen 2 out of 16 creatures that we know he has main. Now I don't know how many creatures he has in the board, but he can survive for a while.
Ooh, there's a Blood Artist.
Okay, this is going to get dangerous.
Well, even then though, like Nick's not actually going to be killing anything anytime soon. He's just going to be bouncing and trying to raise.
Yeah. Okay, this has the potential to get dangerous.
It does.
It's very Darkwing Duckish.
Well, but I mean, you know, we know that Glen can abuse the Blood Artist on his side. It's not just like incidental.
Yeah.
Right. Like he makes that thing good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So he makes the second.
So the Ghost of Snapcaster Mage there?
Yep, that's what that one is. And he draws a Delver of Secrets.
Was it a Delver or was it a Phantasmal
excuse me,
image?
a Phantasmal Image, you're right.
See, it's for some reason, it's just like you just name a card even though you know what you were thinking. I don't think you thought that was actually Delver.
No, I didn't.
You saw that it was Phantasmal Image and just said Delver.
Yeah. So what happens here?
I think...
he doesn't have any great targets, but...
Yeah, he's just...
attack for 2, bring you to 9. He is content to race. Image can be a Blood Artist or a Manic Vandal. It could even just be a Spirit token, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't think I like that. I think I hold back and see if, you know, we assume Glen did not side out something like his Giraffe's Messengers.
No, they're a key part of it.
I would think, and he hasn't drawn any, so I would think that they're
All right, he decided to copy the Manic Vandal. Now, the Manic Vandal would have to destroy an artifact if there was one. There just happens to not be one, but it's not a May ability. It's something's getting destroyed, but there's no target. All right, so Glen is doing what his deck does. He just has to keep attacking here.
He's gonna trade, but he's gonna lose 2 from the Blood Artist. Okay. Never mind. Bounce Blood Artist.
So bounce Blood Artist, trade these off, and then he's still got enough mana. It looks like. No. Did he miss tap? Maybe. Like he can't use that Cavern of Souls to make a spirit.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could have done it in another way though.
Right. Well, I mean
because he couldn't have used the Cavern to cast the...
well, he could have used an island and the Cavern to cast the image.
Island, Cavern, Image, Island. Oh, you're right. Yeah, he could have made he should have a Spirit token on his side. That can matter. Like, those things matter quite a bit.
I mean, if his plan was to actually trade off the image...
which I think it for sure was.
Right, then he would have had a 3rd Spirit here.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah.
We'll see if it matters. It often does.
I mean, Nick obviously won game 1, but... he could have won that game a turn earlier if he would have had that plan all the way through. Now, again, if he had top decked the sword last game, that plan wasn't his plan before he drew the card. So,
okay.
Anyway, it was just one of those things where he mistapped and missed an extra spirit.
Yeah, so, and you know, this is a funny thing that I think a lot of players would be like, whatever. You know,
right,
but it's like actually very big. Yeah, it's like a big mistake.
Literally, like right now, an additional spirit is a 50% increase over the number of spirits he's got right now.
So now we see the spirit come down, and as the board sits, the game would end on the same turn here, right? Because he would be at 5, and then he'd be at 2, and so it's still a 2-turn clock from this point.
Right.
But still, like you never that's 1 Vapor Snag away. All right, is that an actual Delver this time?
Yes, this time it is Delver of Secrets.
All right. So get in for 3, bring you to 3, and make a Delver. And he's just going to say go. I mean, he doesn't have anything relevant in his hand. It doesn't look like just like a Mana Leak and Divine Offering.
No.
He might have 2 Mana Leaks, I guess.
One thing Glen does not have, and I believe you and I were doing the commentary on, it wasn't Glen, it was another zombie list, was that we remarked on the 1 copy of Killing Wave in the previous guy's deck. Glen doesn't have it at all.
Okay.
And I was thinking, man, wouldn't Killing Wave be good here?
Yeah. Killing Wave would get some work done.
That's one way to make room for the birthing pods.
All right, so he's going to go to 1?
Go to 1. Now he's just dies a Vapor Snag. But all 3 that Nick drew are in the graveyard, so he dies to Snapcaster.
Well, I don't understand. But I mean, he's just dead on board, right? Like, he's just going to take...
he has a spirit, he can...
Divine Offering? It is still an artifact.
Yeah.
All right, he went to 1 anyway. Like, he was just going to die to...
I don't see how he was going to win there.
Because he didn't have 6 power on the board. All right.
He was going to have to block.
He was going to block, but then that was going to be it.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm not sure what his plan exactly was, but
I don't know either.
anyway, we're back. I'm Joey Pasco here with Marshall Sutcliffe, and we're coming to you guys live from Seattle, where we just watched Nick Harlow dispatch Glen Ray in the semifinals of the
So
standard
he's going to be in the
portion.
finals.
Yeah, so Nick Harlow in the finals. Glen Ray, though, I mean, congrats on the run all the way up till here. I think.
Yeah, it looks like his deck served him well for the majority of yesterday, and it fell a little short here today.
Yeah.
Couldn't really get anything going.
Yeah, I mean,
Snapcaster Mage kind of got him.
Yeah, well, Snapcaster and 3 Vapor Snakes.
Yeah.
And then Moreland Haunt. I mean, that's what Nick really won that last game off the back of Moreland Haunt. So it's interesting how powerful that card actually is. He only saw 3 creatures besides the Delver that kind of didn't matter there at the end.
Right.
But and those all came back as spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he won.
Yeah.
I feel like I love these zombie decks' use of Blood Artists, but the Blood Artists have done very little this weekend on camera, and I imagine that we're not going to see any more today.
They require a fairly well-developed board state and a way to kill your own creatures or have them die in combat or be able to put enough pressure on so that it's either they die and you get Blood Artist or you take the damage. If you don't have that, Blood Artist on its own is very underwhelming. You know, it just kind of sits there and doesn't really affect the board. It's almost like a little enchantment, you know, that is easy to get rid of, like a Vapor Snaggable enchantment.
Exactly.
You know, so it's, I don't know. I think that it's just one of those decks that needs that velocity. It needs to make this push where it commits a certain amount of things to the board. Mm-hmm. It has a Blood Artist and it has some other piece to abuse it, and then all of a sudden things just ridiculous. You know,
yeah, I guess when I've seen Blood got run over, he got stuck on 2 lands and his opponent had Thalia.
Right.
And so he drew about 8 Doom Blades and couldn't cast them because of Thalia.
Yeah, and also, Philip's deck relied on Artifact Ramp.
Yeah,
that it shut him off.
He was unable to cast that.
Yeah,
couldn't deal with Thalia or cast his Artifact Ramp.
So Dustin, who we see on the left here, is the man that was successful in taking down Phil's mono black deck. And looks like they both have plan A in effect here. So turn 2 Borderland Ranger for Dustin. That's going to enable a lot of his deck. He's probably going to get a Mountain. But Nathan also has a turn 1 play with a Llanowar Elves, and that is definitely what he wants to be doing. I see a Kessig Wolf run for him. And what does he have? A Daybreak Ranger.
So both of these guys have a game under their belt, so this game is for the slot in the finals.
Oh, I didn't realize that. All right, so this is to make the finals. Now we see 2 Rangers.
Yeah, just different
come
types.
Down on
a
turn
Daybreak
2.
and a Borderland.
Which one would you rather have?
I think I prefer the Daybreak.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Borderland's nice if you need the mana, if you need the land, sure. But if you don't.
I always feel like I need more mana.
Yeah, I mean, but if you don't really need it, if you're not like, I don't have a land drop, unless.
Right, Strangaroo Geist comes down, and he's just going to jam in there. He doesn't mind trading off either of these creatures for the Daybreak Ranger.
And Nathan
says,
doesn't want to trade either.
I'd rather not trade off my creatures. Now we're going to see the land come down, and we're also going to see a second Birds of Paradise for Dustin. That is not a Kessig Wolf run, so he's not on that plan yet. Can't actually pump more than 1 anyway, but. Do you think he's just going to pass the turn back and start eating Dustin's creatures?
Being the control deck?
He does, yep.
Yeah,
so he just ships it back. Now it's the upkeep. This trigger resolves now. He has an opportunity to do something now. He decides not to. So yeah, I think what you just said is exactly right. He's trying to take the control angle here.
Now Dustin facing down a Nightfall Predator. And we're going to have
Nathan just snap blocks.
He just like block and...
I mean, it does the same thing that he was going to do.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's going to kill
I
the
thought he
Birds
was
of
going
Paradise.
after something like the Geist or something. Like, no, you're going to kill your guy.
So, yeah, because he's fighting, he would take the damage as well.
Right, he would take the combat damage.
This is actually, this is just very good position right now for Nathan, unless Dustin can play a second creature with his Bird of Paradise. Is this bird feeling creative? Nope. So he gets to keep his Nightfall Predator intact here, which is a big deal. Ooh. He even gets to play a Huntmaster of his own.
So
kill your Huntmaster.
Fight your Huntmaster. Make one for myself.
Oh man, this Nightfall Predator is really taking over this board state. He's already gotten 2 just outright cards out of the deal. And it looks like it's here to stay as well. I think that Dustin only has, he's got 2 cards in his hand, so he could cast 2 spells.
One's a land.
One's definitely a land. He has no choice here.
Yeah,
I'm definitely trading wolves.
Yeah, go ahead. Trade the wolves. So in with Geist and the wolves trade. Geist appears to get in. Nathan's fine with that damage, and yes, there's the one land that we mentioned. I think
there's another cavern in his hand, and yeah, I don't think it's... All right, so now this gets to transform. He's going to use it to kill the Birds of Paradise. He could even just kill the Strangaroo Geist if he wanted.
Yeah,
but he decided to kill the birds. I'm not sure
hit it
why.
and fight it.
Sword.
Oh, wow.
Equipped to the biggest creature I have. Make it a 6/6. Attack you.
And he has 2 cards in hand there, so that's 8.
Yep. 8 damage, and it looks like Nathan's going to gain 3 or 2.
The wolves are out.
Wow, what a beating! Look at this. This looks like a kind of a broken game of Limited here. Like this guy ran really good.
I
and
flipped all my werewolves. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And Dustin can't seem to flip them back. He's
although, do you see that Nathan didn't tap his Llanowar Elves to do the equip, so now he doesn't have red mana up to use his Nightfall Predator?
Yeah, that is odd.
That's a little
that was
loose.
a very hasty equip and attack.
Yeah, I mean, I can get excited too if I get the opening to cast and equip a sword in one turn and actually connect with it, but like you got to be, you got to keep yourself at a nice pace so that you don't do things like that, because he really wants to have that Nightfall Predator activation up.
Yeah, I mean.
Whoa.
Ooh, 6 mana. Okay.
All right,
Huntmaster Thalia, and that's 2 spells. It's going to flip the
See,
wolves
he could
back.
like just kill the Thalia right now.
Yeah, well.
But he can't.
Yeah, so these wolves are going to flip back.
That's kind of awkward.
Yeah, very.
I mean,
very big swing there.
It is. I mean, he's just going to be able to just pass a turn back and be in a similar spot. It's not like the end of the world. He also has a clean attack. I mean, if he attacks, let's see, that thing can't block that thing. So I guess that he's just going to pass a turn. He didn't want to trade his Huntmaster for 2 of Dustin's creatures there. All right, so this one transforms. His trigger gets to go on first. It's going to hit the other guy's Huntmaster, Dustin's Huntmaster.
Right, that's why
before it transforms.
Yeah.
And now he does have an active Nightfall Predator. I also see that he's got a Kessig Wolf run. Bonfire? Is this off the top?
Bonfire off the top.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm pretty sure that was off the top. Okay, so.
Well, don't you want to use that first?
Okay, he did. He must not have transformed it. Is that?
No, wait a minute though. We got to remember Thalia's out there too, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that it?
Yeah, and so like the Huntmaster or the Ravager of the Fells is going to survive.
Right. And
also, it has pro red.
Yes. Also, yeah. So
yeah.
And like, this isn't. Does he hit the fight the Geist, and then the Geist dies to the Bonfire?
Well, no, Bonfire only hits Nathan's side.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. So
well,
he fought the Thalia.
That was he fought Thalia. That was a pretty big swing. Again, if he would have left that red up, Thalia would have been gone. He could have fought the wolf like he could have left Dustin with nothing. He could have also killed the Strangaroo Geist if he wanted to get that off the table.
This is interesting. This game. I mean, that's.
Ooh, this is not a good. All right, Wolfear Avenger. But why doesn't he block with the Ravager? It's taken no damage this turn. Like, I think Dustin thinks that it's taken damage or something like that, but it hasn't.
Well, he makes it all irrelevant.
I guess it doesn't
with
matter.
His own miracle off the top. Wolfear Silverheart.
Wolves everywhere.
This is like mono wolf aggro. I mean, this is like, he goes Daybreak, he goes Huntmaster, then Wolfear Avenger, then Wolfear Silverheart. Like, this is just Nathan.